And we're live. Awesome. Okay, so today I am really excited to introduce you to our Career Inspiration Happy Hour, where I have in the backstage our life coaches, our career coaches, and our Happily Hired Formula alumni who were once in your shoes. So I'm going to let people trickle in and let the internet do its thing and disperse this video. But if you are here, say hello. Let me know, by the way, if you're here for day 4 out of 4, just type in a number 4. I am just so thrilled to be able to have you guys meet the coaches that will be guiding you if you decide to join us inside of the Happily Hired Formula program, which I'll talk more about, and to meet students that were literally in your shoes not too long ago, like sitting on one of these webinars trying to decide if the Happily Hired Formula was the right fit for them. Awesome. So Julio's back, Nina's back. Welcome. Alexander, Crystal, Stephanie, Jeanette, welcome. And by the way, if you have any specific questions percolating for you as you hear our coaches speak, maybe you're like new to this whole coaching industry enrolled, which is pretty new. So we're going to talk more about what coaching really is. But if you have any questions, feel free to put them into the chat. And I'm going to also tell my panelists in the back, like if you guys are reading the comments, you want to address any particular question that's coming up, you want to like answer any specific questions, feel free to do that as well. So awesome. Okay, so we have Danica, Stefani's back, Michelle, Smita, a LinkedIn user. It's like anonymous, but so good to see you all. I'm so excited. So let me go ahead and just share this really quick with you all because let me see if I can get this over. I hope you guys enjoyed the masterclass training last night. Our masterclass training, I talked about at the end that our signature program, Happily Hired Formula, is open for enrollment on Monday. And we opened up the wait list to join because if you join our wait list, you get an exclusive $400 off and you're like the first to be notified. So I just want to recap what's inside the Happily Hired Formula because today you're going to meet the coaches and some of the students that went through it. And by the way, the students that are on this, you have lifetime access and we're actually adding in incredible bonuses, which you will also unlock just because you're part of the program already. So you might be looking at this and be like, I don't have that. Don't worry, you're going to get it. Not that you need it right now. But anyways, in the Happily Hired Formula, we have 8 core job search modules that are filled with our trainings, our templates. Really the how-to behind job searching is all included in here, from getting confidence all the way to how to negotiate your salary. We also, in the Happily Hired Formula program, this is what I love the most about it, is we have monthly group coaching calls with both life coaches and career coaches so that you can overcome any obstacles that are in the way internally, but also have the external strategies and talk through anything that's coming up for you. And then in our Facebook group, we have a private community. Kate Rogers is here today. People love Kate because she answers every single freaking question that comes through. And she's just so intentional with her answers. But I'm going to share that you guys all have unique backgrounds. You have unique situations. You might have questions where you're not too sure about a specific scenario or situation. I always tell our students, like, never feel stupid asking a question, right? Like, no apologizing, no stupid questions are existing. And you can't ask too many questions. So just know that we're here to support and guide you until you land your dream job. And then we have 9 incredible bonuses. And these are just trainings that we've done over the I want to say 3 years that we've had HHF running. Oftentimes my coaches and I will see, okay, what else are people struggling with? What's something that's coming up quite a bit? And so we have these bonuses that have been created just so that you can get to your next level around any of these topics on a deeper level. So we have mindset training, how to create a career story, how to create an amazing resume, networking, what a mock interview looks like, what's accurate salary data reports look like. And if you're not sure what you want to do, how to get unstuck and get clear in your career. This is a new training we're offering next Monday. I'm so excited about that. And then we have a whole slew of trainings from our life coaches on perfectionism, letting go, setting boundaries, how to overcome a toxic workplace environment, et cetera, et cetera. And so the total value of all of this is over $8,000, but enrollment is typically $19.97. However, if you're on the wait list, you can go to cultivateyourcareer.com/waitlist or click on the link. Essentially, you will get $400 off on Monday if you decide to join our amazing cohort and community of happily hired students. So that's that. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump and bring on my incredible panelist, which is Kate Rogers, Megan Myers, Evelyn Fusen. Welcome. Let me see if we can take off the bottom banner so we can see their names, Perez. And I'm just so excited for you guys to meet the coaches in our community. I will share that Carla wasn't able to make it. She's on a flight internationally right now. So I'm not even going to go there. But I want to share that each and every one of you, I kind of handpicked for a certain reason, and I'll talk about that reason. But just about, I think 2 years ago, I want to say, is when I went on maternity leave and I was like, okay, I need somebody that I can trust to take care of my happily hired formula students. And I ended up finding all of you. I feel so lucky. And when I came back from maternity leave, I was expecting that I was just going to have you guys temporarily, but I started to see like how much my students loved you guys and how wonderful you guys supported them. And so I just kept you guys on forever, and I hope forever. But yeah, without further ado, I want to introduce you to our panel, or I guess our guest. So let's start with Kate. If you can give a quick introduction and also your specialty when it comes to coaching.
Hi, nice to meet everyone. I am Kate Rogers. I am a career coach. I have also, my background is in recruiting as well as in program management of career education or tech education focused on career. So basically everything I've ever done in my life is focused around how to help others get to that next level in their career. In terms of career coaching, I am really a strategist. I am a career coach at heart. I look at myself almost as a personal trainer for your job search, helping you build the muscles you need, build those skills that take you not just through this one search, but build career skills that take you on through the rest of your life and enable you to really never have to search again because you've built that network. In terms of working with Emily, it's been amazing. I've been here a couple of years now. I also, as she mentioned, work within that private Facebook group, which is an amazing way to connect with job seekers and kind of answer those on the spot. Hey, I submitted an application and here's what I'm running into kind of questions. Nice to meet you all.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Kate. And I actually met Kate because she used to be a career coach over at General Assembly in Los Angeles. I saw her giving a talk and I was like, I need to talk to her. So that's how we initially got introduced. And at that time, I actually had a client with me who was looking for a job in media and tech. And I introduced her to Kate. I was like, pushing her to network. And then literally you placed her at, I think that was like a Friday event, and you placed her in a job on a Monday, which was incredible. And by the way, Natalie is still at her company. It's been 3 years. Awesome. Let's move over to Megan, our other career coach and former recruiter. Hi, Megan.
Hey, so it's good to be here and meet everybody. My name is Megan. I'm a former recruiter. Actually, I'm a career changer myself. So I went from getting a degree in public relations to working in recruiting for 6 years, and then going back to school for clinical mental health counseling. So I'm also a licensed therapist. I I guess a little bit about my coaching style or how I approach things. I'm big into career clarity. So I love working with people and helping them figure out what feels like a good fit for them. And what I do is I really lean into people's values. That's a big driver for me. And I like helping people better understand where their values are and how that can weave into their career through their interests, their strengths, all of those things. So I work with everybody on the calls, and sometimes I work with people individually too. And I'm happy to be here. And I kind of have a cool networking story too. I met Emily through Instagram. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to have been here now almost a year, I think. It's pretty wild how time flies.
I was going to say that yesterday in our masterclass, I talked about the importance of getting visible and building a connection, and it's all about solution messaging. And when Megan sent me a message on Instagram, I was like, oh my gosh, your cat is so cute, Kate. But I was like, oh my gosh, like Megan walks the walk. Like she's already doing everything that I believe in. And I was actually really drawn to Megan because she's just so professional in her communication, but also very like personable too. And I think that's really important to have when you're putting yourself out there and positioning yourself. So really glad that Megan is part of the team. Evelyn, I have a funny story about Evelyn. I actually was in another coaching program, a group coaching program, and I saw Evelyn coaching and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to steal her. So that's how I reached out to Evelyn and basically said, you need to come over and be a life coach to my cohort as well. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself, Evelyn.
Well, thank you. So good to be here with all of you. But as she said, my name is Evelyn. And yes, I am a life and mindset coach. And funny enough, Kate, my cat Nora is right here. So if you all do join the program, you will see Nora. She likes to make her presence known. So she could make an appearance as well. But yeah, I focus on life and mindset. So if you're new in the coaching space, it's all the internal parts and pieces that might be coming up. So it could show up as perfectionism or imposter syndrome or anything in the closet. Sometimes we even look at trauma and really look at some of the pieces that may just be standing in the way. Something I love about this community, and I think that's so special, is that in this process of job seeking, it can feel really isolating. It can feel like you are all alone. And that's the beauty of mindset work too, is that what is personal is universal. And so that's something really beautiful about this whole environment that Emily has curated and has put so much of her heart and soul into, is that you are doing this process and this journey together. And it's so beautiful to also watch the community on these coaching calls lean in and scoop you up in your arms together and do it together. And so that's what's really, really beautiful as well.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Evelyn. You can tell she's like a very soul-centered coach just by the way she speaks. Okay, so what I want to ask, and feel free to take this if you want to, or ping pong back and forth, but I think a lot of people here are new to coaching. I think it's kind of like this emerging field, but I don't think a lot of people actually have had a real coach, or they may have had different styles, because we all have different styles. So I want to just have somebody define what coaching is for a minute, maybe like the most basic definition, and then maybe we can go into our own like styles when it comes to how we facilitate our HHF calls. Not all at once.
I can go. I think the definition of coaching also is going to depend on the coach and the facilitator, because there are different styles. But when it comes to coaching, I have found that it's more focusing on the vision that you have moving forward. Sometimes it's about looking at back and bringing some of those pieces that may not be serving you to move forward. But because there are some similarities between coaching and therapy sometimes, but there is something really beautiful about having somebody call you forward towards the vision that they can see. Sometimes you need to borrow somebody else's belief.
Mm.
And that's one of the beautiful things about coaching, because there are things that you may not see about yourself that are so readily apparent, but maybe you need help mirroring that back and also calling you in and just helping reframe or even bring, like for me, as for the mindset piece, I can hear patterns or things that are emerging that might be coming up that you aren't aware of. And so it's really about creating that container that helps you be able to see yourself more fully and more embodied.
The embodiment, I think, is really key. It's like really understanding who you are kind of at your essence and being able to work through all of those blocks and challenges that come up and having that third party being able to sometimes point out those blind spots that we're not even aware of. Definitely. Kate, Megan, do you guys want to add to that?
Sure. I think the way I see coaching is sort of what you reach out for when you realize that what you're doing isn't cutting it anymore. It's kind of
Mm.
that when you hit that realization of, I've been doing the same thing over and over again. I love those current ads for one of the online therapy apps where there's the guy under the literally lifting weights and he gets pinned under and he's just going like, no, it's good, dude. I'll figure it out. I got this. I'm fine. And I feel like coaching is who steps in when you've reached that moment of realizing I can reach out to someone. In terms of the way I see myself as a coach too, is as an accountability partner. So
Mm.
when you get to that point of moving forward, it's also having someone there who steps in those moments where you may be scared, you may be holding yourself back for whatever reason, and says, not just you can go forward, but have you gone forward? Check in with me and let me know that you went forward.
Yeah, I love that. Megan, I see actually a really good question in the chat, which is like, what's the difference between a career coach versus a career strategist? Do you want to take that one? Because I know you can wear both hats.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was kind of going to jump into and explain the difference between coaching and therapy too, just in
Yeah.
case anyone had that question. So the way that I see, I imagine it like a Venn diagram. I think there's a lot of overlap between a career coach and a career strategist. A career strategist, I feel, gives specific strategy for your goal and your outcome. A career coach breaks apart pieces of what you're looking to do and reflects that back, kind of like Evelyn said. But I think there are elements of strategy in career coaching. So for me, when I think about career coaching, it feels a little bit more holistic for me. It includes like the whole element of everything that that person brings to the table. And it includes some strategy, but also looking at that person and approaching that person as an individual, wherever they are in the process. So yeah, anything else that you want to add in there between a career strategist, Emily, and a career coach?
Yeah, I was going to say for me, I think that with Carla and Evelyn, you guys are purely focused on like life and spirituality and self-love. Like you guys don't have a former recruiting background or HR background. So I wouldn't expect somebody to come to you and be like, hey, what do I need to do? Like lay it out for me step by step. What do I need to say? Who do I need to say it to? Like I would be kind of fearful if you guys ever did that. Not that I don't trust your guys' job search skills, but it's just not something that is your expertise or like specialty. So a lot of times I think about career strategists as more of a consultant. Like they have a specialized background or knowledge, and they can, if you really said like, hey, can you help me craft a networking message? Like they would be able to do that in their repertoire. Can you help me negotiate? They can tell you like what the best practices are. But a lot of times what I find with job seekers is even if they have all the how-tos, sometimes they hold themselves back from even doing it, right? Like we all know we should network. We all know we should negotiate. But if we don't believe that we're worthy of that salary bump, or we're not mentally prepared for that or emotionally prepared for that, or we're not emotionally prepared or mentally prepared to like send out a message because we don't think we're good enough, or we're afraid of rejection or fear or any of that. I think that's really where the coaching container holds a lot of space. And it's about asking really guided questions to help you find the answer within. What is really blocking you? How do we bring that to the surface and just like lovingly examine it, and also help you reframe and move past it? So I hope that answers the question between a strategist. I almost kind of think about it as like consulting versus coaching, where you're not, like, as a coach, we're not the experts. We are the expert of a coaching process, but we're not the expert of you. We don't know like what your personality is, what you can do, what's within your limitations, but we can extract that and then help you move into more productive, forward moving towards your goals. So I almost think about it like coaching is really like where you are today and figuring out what goal you have and really guiding you to that goal. Whereas like Megan, you talked about therapy. A lot of therapy is like examining the past and like bringing awareness to like what is happened in the past so that you can gain more acceptance and understanding of where you are today. Did I get that right?
Yeah, I would say the exact same thing. And I think I personally feel like when I've worked with a career coach, I've gotten more out of a career coach than a strategist, because a strategist for me feels purely like a teacher, but there's no back and forth. There's not that interaction, like you said, where you can better understand yourself in the same process. Whereas a career coach might have that experience, like they might have been a recruiter, like you said, or they might be able to coach you in an interview, figure out who to ask what questions to, but a strategist would just tell you, okay, here's what you need to do, and you could implement it. But a career coach would figure out how to tailor it to that person as an individual.
Yeah. And actually, that's why I started the Happily Hired Formula program. I should probably explain this. So I actually got really tired of being on a phone call for an hour explaining the how to. Like, I felt like I was teaching people, okay, like this is what your resume needs to look like. This is what the section needs to look like the very practical, tactical, strategic advice. I just laid it all out in the course and gave them templates. And it's much more thorough and complete than what I could possibly tell them in an hour-long conversation. I used to tell my career coaching clients, it's not a good use of my time to teach you. It's not a good use of your time to like sit there and try to learn. What I want to know is like, what's really holding you back? What's really blocking you? What do you need support around? What can I hold you accountable to? And so that's really where the coaching support comes in. Perfect. So let's talk about your guys' facilitation styles. I think people are wondering like how many people on average are on each call, and then like what can they expect once they're on a call? So who's leading May 4th? Is that Evelyn, or is that okay? Evelyn, let's just imagine it's May 4th. We host life coaching calls every first Wednesday of the month, and then every third Wednesday of the month we have career coaching calls. So Evelyn, can you just envision, like we're there, what would you anticipate doing on that call?
Yeah. So really for me, I usually spend a little time kind of grounding in what either I feel like there's something coming through that we need to talk about, or I kind of take a poll of the room to see where we are. So sometimes I start the call with an exercise. Sometimes I will see kind of what the pulse is and what we need as a community. So sometimes that looks like breaking into breakout rooms and having some more intimate conversation around like maybe 3 or 4 questions, and then we all come back in and discuss it. So it just really depends on what I feel is going to best support the community. And so, like I said, sometimes that's my own intuition, and sometimes it's a collective kind of merging, if that makes sense.
Yeah, beautiful. I know Carla's not here today, but she's our other life coach, and she does something very similar. She'll have people unmute themselves or just type into the Zoom chat, like, what is a topic? What's something that you're struggling with? And she'll kind of take all of that together and somehow do an incredible training. And then she'll like put people in breakout rooms, have them practice it, and then come back together and discuss. So that's beautiful to hear. Kate, Megan, maybe you guys can talk about what to expect on a career coaching call. Oh, let me.
All right, I'll start. Sorry. I wasn't sure.
You're so polite. You go first.
It's so the last call that I led was a bit of a hybrid between both doing some live coaching with people who were coming in with, hey, I'm running into this, and kind of coming off mute and working with them to figure out what they're running into. And as you all mentioned earlier, kind of getting the what's behind, because it's not as simple. They have the formula. They can go in and see, but my resume should look, and my messaging should look like this, but why aren't people getting back to me? Kind of digging in a little bit deeper, mixed with some specific trainings. So in this case, what we did was what I like to call difficult conversation drills. So for things people tend to get stuck on, in this case, I picked the how to defer a salary conversation, and put people in breakout rooms and ask them to break each other down. Kind of keep asking, try and get to the root of it. See if you can, to just get people practicing the how to deflect again, and start using the words that you're going to need in the search, in those interviews, in a safe space where you can start feeling comfortable and get used to it. So I would say that those calls are kind of a mix of what you bring to the table and what do we need to talk about now in terms of those other life trainings that are brought in as well.
Yeah. And I think those are so powerful too, because you need to practice like stating things before you go into the real situation. But also I think the power of community is so wonderful, like having a group come together. I hear so many of our alumni and students say like, I'm glad I'm not alone. Like, or when people share, they're like, oh my God, I was thinking the same exact thing. I just didn't know how to state it or word it. Or like for me personally in school, I like used to never raise my hand. I was like too shy, or like felt like I was asking too dumb of a question. I was like, I hope somebody else asks. But it's just like a really powerful thing to be able to Evelyn's point, recognize that what's personal to somebody is so universal and other people can really resonate and benefit from it. Megan?
Yeah, sure. I'll jump in. So since I love working with career clarity, a lot of times that comes up on the calls because somebody's in that space. So I'll work on that with individuals. I'll explore like different ways that they can connect with clarity, or questions they can ask to better understand areas that they need to gain clarity in. And I'll also figure out too, like along the whole process of their career exploration and like job searching and everything like that, how we can make sure that you have clarity in those steps as well. So since I like to lean into people's values, I'll think about, okay, well, how can we ask questions too in the interview that make sure this role aligns with your values, or things like along those lines. So that was actually something that we did in one of the last calls I was in. We talked a little bit about interviewing and strategic interview questions to make sure that the job aligns with that individual's values. So I'll kind of approach, like Evelyn said, I'll see where everyone's at in the call and try to meet people where they are. So that's my strategy, I guess, within the calls. And then I'll come up with areas that we might need to focus on. And I'll always have something on the back burner if everyone, maybe people are tired some days. They're like, I don't know what I want to talk about. I'm tired today. So I'll have like a teaching on the back burner that I can dive into. But if people have questions or things like that, I try to meet them where they are and answer those as they come up.
Beautiful. Okay, so last question for you all. Well, actually, I don't have any more questions, and I think we answered these. So let me just ask if there's anything that you would like to share with a prospective student, like maybe they're thinking or wondering, is HHF right for me? Is coaching right for me? What would you like to say to them, if anything?
I would just love to say to all of you that the community within the Happily Hired formula is such a lovely place. It is a place that inspires me daily. Mm-hmm. It is a place where people love and support each other, show up for each other, keep each other going, and keep each other motivated and in a positive headspace, which is so important. And if you are on the line at all and you are looking for a community like that to be a part of, this is really an amazing place to kind of come rest your head while you're starting that journey and figuring out what's next for you, what's next for your career.
Definitely. I love the community and how supportive and uplifting everyone is, but also how vulnerable people are. Like, I feel like there's sometimes this need to pretend everything is going great in the job search. I'm like, look, I know your job search is filled with downs and ups and downs and ups, but it's okay. It's okay to like openly share, because when you do, that vulnerability is so beautiful. Like, so many people are like, oh my God, it's exactly where I was or where I am. And it's just nice to know you're not alone in that process. So thank you, Kate. Let me go to Megan.
Yeah, I would echo what Kate said. I think it's an incredible community. And I've been able to meet so many amazing people through it. I've been inspired. And I would just say too, Emily is the real deal. Like, I really appreciate Emily, like how much that you put into this, not just, with your community. I see that, every day when I work with the people in the community, but I also appreciate what you put into the coaches too, like checking in on us, seeing how we're doing in our career. So I feel very connected. I actually had the opportunity to meet Evelyn in person too, which was really cool. So I think it's unique in that way. There's not a lot of online communities that you feel this type of closeness in.
I appreciate that. That was received. And I also think it's really cool that our students meet up with each other. Like, I was reading, like, there's a New York chapter now where they actually get together and talk about job search, but also just get to know each other on a personal level. And I think we're all yearning for connection these days. So that makes sense. Evelyn, how about you?
Yeah, well, it's definitely the community. I do think, like I said, I think that stems from your leadership. And as Megan said, you are the real deal. That's from your heart and from that true place. Emily created this from that desire to create this place for you. She has curated it. And I'll also say that there is something really profound about giving yourself permission to get the things that you need and being able to be heard through this whole process. So just if this isn't the program for you, and this is a shameless plug for coaching and support, but there's something I think that we are hungry for. And that's really to be heard and understood and listened to. And so that's something too that's really beautiful about these spaces, is that it gives you an opportunity to meet parts of yourself that maybe you didn't know or just need to be witnessed. And you can do that in the safety of this container.
Oh, thank you so much, Evelyn. So beautiful. Well, thank you guys so much. I want to say I appreciate you all. Like, you guys are what makes Happily Haired Formula what it is. I know I hear from our students that just say like, thank you so much for all the support. I landed my dream job and it wouldn't be without you guys. So I really, really appreciate it. And thank you for taking the time to meet and speak with our audience today. I think there's one last question I see actually, which is, are all those real plants? I don't think so, Evelyn.
It is a picture. Yeah. I do have a lot of plants around here, but not that many yet. They're like tattoos.
Ah, they just grow. All righty. Thank you guys so much for being on. And I wish you guys a great rest of your evening. And let me actually, before I bring on the panelist, I do want to share, let me go ahead and move over. So I'm going to share this really quick because unfortunately, one of our panelists they caught COVID. So they're not able to make it, but I wanted to share it because I posted that he would be here today on this panel, but unfortunately he's with us in spirit. But I wanted to share his testimonial because it's quite amazing what he was able to do. So he was in a toxic work environment, ended up quitting his job without another lined up. In January, he graduated with his MBA. The end of January is when he enrolled in HHF. And he said prior to this, he had already sent out 400 resumes and CVs and gotten 0 interviews. Oh my gosh, 400. I do not recommend that for anyone. But just about 2 to 3 months later, he says he got a dream job that pays $50,000 more than his previous job. It's a position that he could never have dreamed of. All thanks to Happily Hard Formula. He said, a couple of days before, I was really doubting whether or not I was worthy and capable of getting an amazing job and I have a career. I was really discouraged. Now, with the help of HHF, I do not have to worry anymore. This really works and the results are amazing. But I wanted to share that because I think it really touches on like the mindset work that we do in here, as well as the strategies. But a lot of what we just discussed about why coaching can be such a powerful container is really evident from Matthew. So that's a testimonial I just wanted to share. And without further ado, I want to bring on our amazing alumni. These are students that were actually probably on one of these not so long ago. And I was like, can you just come on and share your story in case they think that I'm like a fake person or fake whatever on the internet. So hopefully you guys can share with them your real students, real people with real stories. So if we could go around, I'm going to start with Jessica. And I would love for you to just briefly introduce yourself, whatever you feel comfortable with, and we'll probe more questions later.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Emily, for having me. I love it. I love to share my story. So I'm Jessica Brandt. I live in Olympia, Washington, and my background is kind of science, environmental law, and policy, and I kind of ended up in the corporate sustainability world, but I was looking to pivot but felt stuck. I'll just leave it at
that. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Emily?
Hey, everybody. My name is Emily, and a little bit about me. I come from a background in higher education. So I have my master's degree in student affairs / college counseling. And I joined HHF because I really wanted help with not just my job search, but also seeing like what are some alternative industries that I can pivot into. And so now I am in the tech bootcamp industry, working with job seekers like yourself who are wanting to transition into various tech fields.
Awesome. Thank you, Emily. And Marina?
Hi, everyone. I'm Marina. My background is in nutrition. I have a master's degree in functional medicine and nutrition and a CNS certification. So I was working with a functional medicine doctor for a long time. I just felt very stuck there. I wasn't making any money and just felt like I got to leave this whole space altogether and just didn't know what to do. So I got Instagram targeted actually by Emily and it worked out really well. So I'm really glad to be here.
I know people are like, thank goodness for these advertisements that just know what I'm searching for all day.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thank you guys. And I am so glad that they're able to meet you all. Let me ask if we can go around and kind of just share your before and your after. So if you were to kind of think about where was I before joining HHF, like maybe you can describe your current situation, maybe just kind of what you were feeling that really sparked like, okay, I need to join HHF. And then I'd love to hear like what you ultimately got walking away from HHF. So like the after, the now. Let me move to, I'll just go in the same order. Jessica, if you don't mind kicking us off.
No, not at all. Yeah,
it was a monumental day for you because you just resigned or last day.
Oh, whew. Now I know this will be a story. So I was in a relatively new job actually as a corporate sustainability manager for about a 3,000 person company. And I had spent my entire career really in public service. And so just in November 2021, I made the switch to the private sector because I kind of just wanted to do remote work and just try something different. And honestly, by January, so like a month and a half after I had started, I just knew the company wasn't working for me, that the job wasn't working for me. And I was really bummed about it. And I felt really lost, like either I'm not in the right field or maybe this just isn't the right company, doesn't support my values. And I felt really bummed out and lost. Like who's going to hire me? I had kind of that imposter syndrome. I felt really trapped because I had just started. I'd never been in a job. I wanted to quit so quickly. And so at the time, I just kind of told myself, I'll just take any job that paid at least what I was making, even if it was wildly different. And that's kind of where I was at that time. Fast forward to enrolling in Happily Hired program, and I really honed in what I wanted to do, the things that were interesting to me, found a company with my values, and ultimately got a really nice pay raise along with a new position that I'm starting May 9th.
Yay! Congratulations. Do you mind sharing where you're working and your title?
Oh, yes. I went from being a corporate sustainability manager at eHealth to a learning and development manager with a sustainability portfolio at Deloitte.
Yay! Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think you hit on something so important, Jessica, by the way, which is like sometimes we take a role that isn't a good fit and it could feel like we made a poor decision, but I'm also hearing from you that you picked yourself up right away. Like the fact that you were able to leave and then find another thing like 2 months later is incredible. But hopefully you also feel like you have the skill sets to not have to worry about whatever the outcome of any jobs or situation is moving forward. Yeah, beautiful. Let me go to Emily.
So a little bit about where I was at before joining HHF. So like I mentioned, I was really struggling with my job search. Definitely had job search depression, was plagued with like imposter syndrome, self-doubt. And I was really rethinking if like the path that I was on was really what I wanted to be in, or if it was even the path I was meant to stay on. And I really appreciated how the curriculum was laid out, beginning with that career clarity piece, because I feel like that's what I really needed. And I feel like that's like the one area that I feel like I focused on the most, and I kept on revisiting like throughout my time in the program. And it was a long journey for me, and I'd be happy to like share more details like as we continue with our chat here. But at the end, once I landed a job, I got about a 40,000 salary bump increase, 100% remote job. I'm joining a talented team of professionals who are like also committed to the mission that like Emily and the other coaches here promote, of like helping people with like accomplishing their personal and professional goals. And I get to work at a company where I like really believe in their mission of improving people's lives. And overall, I feel valued in my new role, and I get to use a lot of the skills that like I really enjoy using that HHF helped me discover.
Beautiful. Congratulations. That like made my heart tickle when you said, I feel valued. It's so important.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. We're definitely going to dig into your story, by the way, because I love your story. Marina, can we chat about your before and after?
Yeah. So I had like a bit of a heads up that I was going to be leaving my job. Actually, the place I was working at was closing. So I was kind of like on the job boards, like sending random applications to places. And I was just like, oh, there's nothing out there. Like I said, I'm going to have to like leave my whole field, and just like very down about it. I was like, I don't even care what job I do. I just like want to get paid a decent amount, because I definitely like wasn't before. And I think actually like going through your course got me excited about a job search, which is crazy. It kind of made it fun. And actually I had 2 positions. So I started one while I was interviewing at another place, and then went to the other place when I was offered that position. It was, like literally like I'm in my dream field that I never thought I could get into, making way more money, like working for really cool people, doing really cool stuff. So it was like a complete shift. It's been great.
Beautiful. I learned 2 new terms today. I'd never heard job search depression, but I also heard job search excitement. I love these. I'm going to steal that. That's awesome, Marina. Do you mind sharing like where you ultimately landed and your title?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. So I work for a nutrigenomics company now, and then a lead nutrigenomics mentor. So pretty much actually the first internal person in the US doing this, like fully remote. So that's also really nice.
That's amazing. I'm going to have to Wikipedia that later. I don't know what nutrigenomics is.
Yeah, it's a genetics company essentially, but we do like lifestyle testing and that sort of thing. It's like how nutrition and genetics interact with each other.
Incredible. See,
Yeah.
there's so many. I was just saying on day 2 clarity training that there's like 500,000 titles that exist now. And I would have never imagined that that's a title. So that's incredible. And yeah, okay. So we're going to dive into all of this. Let me ask, what was your strategy before joining HHF to finding a job?
Sure, I'm happy to kick that one off. The strategy was look for any job with the word sustainability in it and apply for it. And then it got even broader because I was like, well, I have transferable skills. I could be a product manager, or I could be an HR person. And I just kind of just literally applied for anything. And the results were 0 responses, a lot of rejection emails. And I did that from about early January to mid-February. So it's 6 weeks of applying to a few jobs a day with pretty much no results.
Wow. Okay.
It's
Now
true.
I got to ask, what was the winning strategy? Like, what did you do to land your Deloitte job?
So yeah, what I ended up doing that I think I highly recommend to everybody was sign up for the Happily Hired program in mid-February. And I took my time to just go through the first few modules in the curriculum, because I think for me, my biggest focus area was to review my values, my value proposition, my interests and skills, and just kind of let me hone in a field that combined the things I liked and kind of maybe got rid of the things I didn't like. So I actually found a position that met all the criteria I had, and I applied for that in early March. And within like a week, I got a call from their recruiter wanting to interview me, and went through this interview process and got hired by April 12th. I got the offer, and I just kind of worked my way through the curriculum. And that's what's cool about the modules, is when you need something, it's there. Like I suddenly found myself with an interview, and I was not really prepared for that. And then suddenly I found myself negotiating, which I didn't feel very prepared for either. But all these modules kind of walked me through it. So again, it was that combo of your coaching and strategy kind of together. I thought it was really helpful.
Oh, that's so great to hear. And yeah, I said you can never ask too many questions in the Facebook group, but oftentimes I'll always ask, like, have you gone through the module? Because like a lot of the questions that people ask, they're just like, oh, if I went one more lesson, I would have got my answer. I've been doing this long enough where I kind of know what most people's questions and what they're going to encounter is. So thanks for being a testimony to that, Jessica. Let me move to Emily. So the question is, what was your strategy prior to joining? And then what ultimately got you to your dream job?
Yeah, so if I was to give a timeline, in 2019, I was applying to jobs after I had graduated from my master's program. And it was just applying via the job boards. That was my only strategy. No networking, because I didn't know how. And also the fact that I'm an introvert, so networking is like not my thing, but now I'm like, learning to be more comfortable with it. The thing is that I was landing interviews, but I wasn't really getting many offers. I must have gone on maybe like 20 or like 25 interviews. And there was one offer that I got, but I turned it down. And I remember I was so like upset about it, and like I had regretted it, but now looking back, like I'm glad I didn't, because it led me to this path that I'm on now. And yeah, when I signed up for HHF, I want to say it was around like 2020, like right around when the pandemic hit, and I started going through the first modules, taking my time with it. And at that time, like during summer 2020, I got a job as an adjunct instructor. So I was doing that to get income on the side. So it was really through like that experience, plus also going through the HHF modules, that I learned that I really enjoy like teaching and instructing other people. I'm a really strong writer and also a strong listener. And I really liked talking to people about careers, because I feel like at that time that was like something that not only did I struggle with, but it's also a topic that like I resonated with a lot. And even thinking too, in my time when I was in my graduate program, I took about like 1 or 2 career counseling courses, and I really enjoyed doing that. So that whole clarity piece really helped me like put together the puzzle of like, okay, with these skills and these strengths that I have, like this is where I can use it as to like where I want to go next with my career path. And what was the other part of your
Oh,
question?
so like, how did you ultimately get the dream job?
Okay.
If kind of applying online didn't work for you.
Yeah, so the way that I found out about my new job is that a resource that really helped me was joining this Facebook group that's called Expatriates of Student Affairs. So it's really a group dedicated to higher ed professionals who just want to leave and go into like other fields and industries. And I learned a lot about like adjacent industries like ed tech and like tech boot camps. And there was somebody who had shared an opening at General Assembly, which is one of like the big known tech boot camps. And I did that whole solution messaging. I was like super scared to do it, but like I did it. And it worked out because I was able to get an interview. But the thing is that I didn't end up getting the job the first time around. But since I had such a good interview experience with the hiring manager, who's my now manager, and the other folks on the team, we had built a good rapport. We were able to like end things on a good note. And I shared with them that if any other opportunities were to open up in the future, to please keep me in consideration. And something else that also helped a lot was not only that staying in touch piece, but also just reaching out to my current contacts, since I have had some former colleagues, now friends, who had also transitioned out of higher ed. And one of them in particular had been working at General Assembly for a couple of months now. And what ended up happening was, I want to say like towards the end of like 2021 going into 2022, that hiring manager that I had interviewed with like the first time around, he reached back out to me asking me what my plans were, and if I was still interested in like wanting to join the team. And so obviously like I jumped on the opportunity, and I made sure to loop back with my friend who also works there, to let him know like of the situation and if he could write me a glowing referral, which he did. And that really helped me like landing the job this second time around.
Congratulations. And I wanted to say, in November, I kind of challenged everybody to do networking, because I feel like a lot of people think the holidays are like a slow time, but it's actually like one of the best times to network, because people are just like twiddling their thumbs in the office. And I did a little challenge, and I ended up giving out gift cards to like the top winners of this challenge. And I remember, Emily, you said you actually posted your networking template, like your message you sent out, and your comment was, I guess you got to be in it to win it. And you ended up winning. I asked you like what you wanted. You said you wanted a Lucille's barbecue gift card.
Yeah.
So I gave you a Lucille's barbecue gift card. And then when you told me that you got your dream job, I was like, oh my gosh, how are you celebrating? And you were like, I'm going to use the gift card and go to Lucille's. So I love that like full circle moment, and seeing you put yourself out there. And for anybody who's listening right now, I could tell like Emily has really found her like current calling. And I know, because you said like, I love talking about careers because I was struggling with my own. And that's really where the word passion comes from, is like passion used to mean struggle. It came from like the passion of the Christ, but over time it's like evolved into love. Like we think about passion as something we love. And so it's kind of like two sides. It's like you struggle, like you have a struggle that you overcome, and then it becomes your passion. So I just wanted to point that out.
Oh, I've never heard of that. I really like that.
Yeah.
And too, also, I appreciate you bringing up the story about the gift card, because I forgot about that, but that's how I celebrated. And I just love how it all like, worked out in the end. And I also just quickly wanted to share that. In addition to that, I remember getting a fortune cookie like a couple months like before I got the job. And I believe it says something like, you're going to change your profession soon. And I remember looking at it and I was just like, this is a nice message. I was like, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'll keep it. And then like months later, I ended up like with this new job.
Wow, that's a really targeted cookie. I actually went to Express the other week, and it was like, enjoy your life while you can. And I was like, that's really morbid. But I'll see the silver lining. Thank you for sharing. Marina, do you want to share as well? the before and the after
Yeah.
job search strategy.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me. I think I found you pretty early in my job search, so I wouldn't have like, this crazy, like I've sent out 400 resumes or anything like that. It was just like very sparse, like looking on LinkedIn, like if I thought it kind of fit, like I would just go for it, throw it out there, and I really wasn't getting any callbacks. And I think actually when I started Happily Hired Formula, I did have a job interview like lined up like that. Like I think they like called me like that day, like, hey, like, whatever to schedule, right? So I was like, oh no, I've not been to a job interview in like, I don't know, over like 5 or 6 years. So for me, really, it was like the confidence piece. And I really, like, I dived right into like the interview stuff and those modules like right away. And that was huge for me to like really feel comfortable with it. But I think ultimately too, like when this job came up that now I have, I don't think I would have applied for it otherwise, because I had kind of like already like been going through everything and being like, I was like excited about it. And I kind of had like my whole like story planned out and like everything like that. So I think it's like really the confidence piece. And so like I was following up with the person who had posted it and everything, and like they were not responding right away. And I didn't take it to heart. And I just like gave them some space and I followed up again and all of that. So yeah. I think for me, like really, it was all about like the interview stuff that really like made a huge, huge difference for me in really honing in and getting excited about this job search and being like, yeah, like I can do this and I can find a job that I actually like and not just, do whatever pays the bills. Yeah.
What a stark difference from like, I just need any job to like, oh, wow, like I can actually get targeted and find something that gets me excited. That makes my heart tickle too.
Yeah, like I was actually like excited to like send out resumes and like go to interviews. It was kind of fun.
I love that. Okay, so I want to be respectful of your time. And I guess my last question is, if anybody here is listening right now and they're on the fence of whether or not HHF is the right program for them, whether or not they should join, I guess I'd love to hear what parting words you would have for them.
That's a great question. I think I'll keep mine short and sweet, but I would just say if you truly want to change your job, whether it's company or career in general, pivot, I think if you commit and work through these modules and have this community, you'll find something that makes you happy. It might not be, immediate, but when it does, it's just going to be so satisfying. And I know everyone probably has different things they'll really hone in on as they go through these modules and work with the coaches, like whether it's focus on your clarity or networking. It's wonderful. It's systematic yet very tailored. And so I will just say, have confidence in the process. It works.
Thank you, Jessica. And actually, Emily, I'm going to throw another question to you because I think you mentioned that you weren't necessarily working during the time you invested in yourself. And so I know investing can be quite scary for some people, especially if they're not flush with cash. So can you kind of talk a little bit about like why or how you decided to invest in yourself?
Yeah, so to clarify, I had a part-time job, but obviously like, it wasn't like a ton of money compared to like how much I make now. But really like with my situation, like what helped is the fact that at least I have like my parents like support in terms of like finances. So I'll just say right off the bat, like that's obviously like really helpful to me. But the reason why I also just decided to invest in your program is because I was just getting tired of like being stuck and like using the same strategies that I just feel like weren't moving me forward. And when I first found out about you, it was through Facebook, how you had that, it was like that TikTok video where you were like pouring a glass of like overflowing water and it had like, applying to job boards, but like the other glass, like that had very little water was the strategies like networking, solution, messaging, creating a LinkedIn profile. So that like immediately got me hooked. And I was like, wow, like I need to learn about these things. And like the thing with HHF is that, the material and the strategies that I learned and like for the folks in the space who have learned, it's really not like challenging. Like you can do it. I just feel like the most challenging part of the program is overcoming those mindset challenges that like we talk a lot about, and just overcoming like that self-doubt and that imposter syndrome. So I feel like HHF is like truly the test to see like if you have a growth mindset, and if you don't, that's okay, right? Because you can like start taking those like baby steps to achieving it, and the modules help a lot with doing that.
That's so powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Marina, do you want to answer either of those questions?
Yeah. So actually too, like when I got this job, I'm making more than double what I was making before. And I mean, I mean, to be fair, I was not working full time before, but I mean, still, it's like, you know, night and day difference. And that would not have happened like without your negotiating module. Like, there's no way I would have held out so long and like made them put out the first number, because they did. And I for sure would have like lowballed myself at least 20K, at least what they even offered, and then negotiated more from that. So, I mean, you like just that alone. And I think when you did this, like when I was on it, you talked about negotiating, and I was like, okay, if I could like even negotiate a little bit more, it would pay for this program. And I mean, it has by far. I know I would not have been able to negotiate otherwise. And I mean, just like the confidence piece, like I went into interviews so prepared. I knew exactly what to say, like, and it was fun. And I felt like I could just like talk to the person and not feel like, oh my gosh, like they're judging me and stuff like that. Cause I had everything already prepped. And I would have never thought to do it the way that you lay it out. And like Emily said, like, it's so easy. You just have to, you know, commit a little bit of time every day. And you actually kind of made it fun. So yeah, they made it really enjoyable.
I love that. I love that you keep using the word fun in the same sentence as job searching. That's like my whole goal, because I feel like, yeah, it's oftentimes something that we would rather put on the back burner. Like, it's so easy to just sit and watch Netflix, like binge on Selling Sunset or something, instead of focusing on your job search. But you guys are all testimonies of what can really happen when you just, and to Emily's point, like, it's not even like a lot. It's just like dedicating yourself, focusing and implementing those strategies and the tips, and the really working on the mindset that holds us back. So thank you guys so much. I wanted to be respectful of your time, and I know that this audience has really loved getting to know you as well. Thank you for being so open and honest and just sharing what is possible. I like to call this the panel of possibilities, because I always say what's possible for one is what's possible for all. And I'm sure like none of you guys came in, it doesn't sound like any of you guys came into HHF thinking like, I'm going to smash my job search and get a new dream job like this instant. You guys wouldn't need the support or help, but here you guys are on the other side. And congratulations, by the way, to just having a career that you guys can wake up excited to. And thank you again to our coaches for being on here. I'm going to have you guys move off. You guys can wave bye or say bye.
I'll say bye. And if anyone wants to find me on LinkedIn, I can't type in the comments, but if someone wants to find me, that's fine. And hello, Washingtonians. I see a few of you.
Yeah, same here. I saw a comment. Somebody wants to connect with me. I'm sure you'll do a recording, or you'll upload the recording, so you can include our LinkedIn profiles.
If you guys want, actually, in the meanwhile, you can private chat to Carez, and Carez can copy and paste whatever you guys want into the comments, so it's broadcasted. So if you guys want to throw your LinkedIn URLs, do that. But this is what I mean. Like, the people inside of HHF are just so giving. Like, everybody's just like, connect, like, let's support each other. I know so many of our alumni, when they get a job, they post the openings at their company and are like, does anybody want a referral? Is anybody a good fit for this? Pass me your resume. So you guys are incredible. Thank you. Cool. So I'll let you guys do that on the back end. And then I know I just always have questions about like, what is inside of Happily Hired Formula? What is this program that Emily's talking about? So just to recap, we didn't open enrollment yet. It's opening up on May 2nd. We typically open up twice a year. We already opened up in January. Jessica was part of that cohort. She's now happily hired. But yeah, this is our second time opening up, and we may not open up until next January. So what I'm going to say though is that when you join, you kind of become a lifer. Like, you get lifetime access, you get immediate access. I do have some people who join that are not in a rush to find a new job, but they know that they want to master these skills of being more confident, being able to know like what is important to them in their career and their life, and getting that clarity, knowing how to position themselves, how to build a LinkedIn profile so that recruiters can reach out to them with opportunities, and or how to just have an updated, optimized resume ready to go, because we never know what's going to happen. How to network, how to interview, how to negotiate. Like, these are all skills you can learn, practice, and master for like the rest of your career, because you're going to make multiple career moves, right? But the point is that when you join Happily Hired Formula, you get access to all the trainings, all the modules, all the how-tos, and the instructional videos, the templates. But you also get access to our incredible life coaches that you just met, as well as our career coaches. And again, ongoing support. I did see a question on whether or not we help with career advancement. So I think you're talking about like whether or not we help with getting promotions or raises. That's actually not our focus in this program. This program is really designed for people who currently know that they want a new position, or join a new organization. And so our goal is to help you identify what is that target dream job, and then how do we actually put the personal brand, the networking strategies, the interviewing skills, the negotiating skills in place, so that when you get an offer, you can actually get excited about it, and land that. So that's our goal, is that we want to support you until you land your dream job. And this is the program that has, again, all the how-tos, but also the support, the accountability, the guidance. So if you want to join us, you want to make sure that you go to cultivate.com/waitlist, or click on the link in the chat, the description box, your emails. You want to just add your name and your email, because on Monday, when we open up enrollment, you're going to get $400 off as an early bird discount. And we're going to give you a very special link where only the people on the wait list will get the $400 off coupon. Otherwise, if you go to our website, then you can join the program next week, but it will be $19.97. So the $400 off will be $15.97, or 6 monthly payments of $299 a month instead of $399 a month. And I'm going to share, because I saw a question like, does HHF ever get discounted? Like, this is the biggest discount. We've actually increased the rates over the years because we just continue to add more trainings, more support. And so if anything, we've always gone up in price, and we won't go down in price. This is just to be fair to like everybody else who has enrolled before in the past. And then again, we're constantly looking at adding new trainings. You get a whole library of career coaching calls. Really anything that you have questions on, you're supported through in this program, because there's no limits to how many questions you can ask or how long you even get support. Again, our goal is not for you to take the first job offer. I think it was Marina who said, or maybe it was Jessica, I can't remember, but one of our alumni just said that they had a job offer, but they turned it down. Or it was Emily, the last person, I guess. Emily was like, I had a job offer, but I turned it down. It wasn't the right fit, but it opened up a new door for the right opportunity. And that's what it's really about. It's not about finding any job, the first job. What I think so many of our job seekers do prior to joining HHF, which is like just pray for any job and spray and pray. We want to move away from that. We want to get you a targeted job, one that checks your non-negotiables, really aligns with your values, is really going to allow you to thrive and succeed in your career. That's what we're aiming for here. Okay. So let me see here. I think that is the end of this. Tomorrow, I am going live again, and I have my team, by the way, like compiling questions. So if I didn't get to your question today, don't worry, we'll answer them tomorrow. But tomorrow is going to be really fun. I hope you guys meet me here again at 5:30 p.m. Pacific for day 5. It is our final day. I feel really bittersweet about that, but hopefully I get to continue this journey with you inside of HHF. But tomorrow is going to be a really amazing day because I'm going to have you like just pose any questions. And I'm actually going to invite you to come back on here with me so that you can turn on your camera, you can turn on your audio, and we can actually talk through any questions coming up, because that's what we do inside of our career coaching calls, is that we offer hot seat coaching. So this is an opportunity to kind of share what's on your mind, what your struggles are, what I can help you with, and we'll just talk it out. If that's not comfortable, you can absolutely type it into the chat and I can give you an answer and just talk it out as well. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure as you go through these past 4 days, if you have any questions, we can answer them as our final wrap up to this incredible boot camp. Yeah. Okay. So let me just answer one because it's showing up. Does your program apply to folks over 55 years who are transitioning to new careers? Yes. I'm going to say I was going to say oldest, but yeah, I guess it is oldest. Career transitioner was actually 66 years old, Mike, and he ended up moving into a VP role. He actually had been job searching for a year and saying, I'm facing ageism, which is a limiting belief, by the way. Not to say that ageism doesn't exist, but there are so many companies out there that will benefit from your age and wisdom and experience. So it's not about, again, finding every single company or job to give you an offer, but the most aligned one. And so over time, when Mike was facing rejections, this is where the mindset work comes in. He started to tell himself that he wasn't good enough. He was too old. He started to lower his expectations. He started going for manager roles, which he was overqualified for. So when we started working together, he found the right target, which were VP level roles. And, within 3 months, he ended up landing a VP role. And he realized, okay, it wasn't my age. I'm happily hired. So yes, anything is possible. All right, you guys, thank you so much. It was so lovely connecting. I'm really glad that you were able to meet the coaches that will support you inside and also hear from our HHF students. I appreciate you guys all so much, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Take care.